breaking news from the NFL. It's not breaking anymore because obviously people have tweeted about it already. It's all over the internet. Deshaun Watson has been suspended for the first 6 games of the 2022 NFL season. This comes as no surprise, as people already knew that he was going to be suspended. It was just a matter of how many games. Now, this one's coming down. We'll get into your rundown in a little bit. We'll get into the 2022 Denver Broncos in a little bit. But this right here is a complete abomination of the NFL shield, everything they stand for, everything that they represent, because this is the same amount of games as guys like Ezekiel Elliott back in 2017 when Zeke was accused of one wrongdoing and then cleared of it. They got 6 games anyway. This was 24 women that came forward, 25, 26. We lost count at this point, but Deshaun Watson only serves 6 games and can actually, he's not going to appeal, but the NFL can appeal, meaning if the NFL appeals and Roger Goodell appeals or any kind of appeal happens, Deshaun Watson could suit up week 1.
So for clarification on that, I think Roger Goodell isn't going to be the one that heads up the appeal. It's supposedly it's the owners. The owners want to kind of take back what was going on. You had mentioned the article, and this is what we've been talking about 2 wrongs don't make a right. I need to see more details. It came out that it was going to be 2 seasons. It came out it was going to be 1 season. Then it came out that he might not get suspended at all. There was a lot of back and forth about what it was going to be. And then for the past month or so, I think it was kind of established that it was going to be 6 games. So I'm not surprised by it. If anything, if they only found something wrong, then they gave him 6 games because of the public outcry. You also have to think he did miss a full season last year. I know that we're
not going to touch
on that, but you know,
he didn't miss anything.
All told, 23 games he didn't get to play in. To me, I don't know the details of the situation, but if there was egregious shit going on with the NFL investigation, and the NFL only investigated 5 cases out of the 25, so maybe that's because the other 20 just didn't have any legs.
Yeah, 4 to 5 cases that was the more alarming part when I read that this morning, that only 5 cases were brought. 4 of them were actually represented, were brought to the NFL and to this judge. So the other ones were, quote, settled, were, quote, kind of gone away. And that's either hush money or Watson and his company taking care of all these women that were affected by this, which, again, this is complete bullshit because look around the league. Look at what everybody else is dealing with currently. We're talking complete Calvin Ridley. Like, bro, makes one bad parlay bet, loses the bet, by the way, loses that, and then he's suspended for the entire 2022 campaign. Now, I get it because Pete Rose, obviously in baseball, once you bet on the sport that you play in, it is bad news bears, okay? It is bad news. So I get it. Suspended for a year, fine. But now you're looking at a guy like Deshaun Watson, who's literally been accused of assaulting women for how many? 2 years ago now, I guess this all came about. So assaulting all these women, and all of a sudden, this is the penalty. This painted the NFL in such a bad light because now what are you going to do? Now, what do we have to see now in the NFL? And I'm not saying this arbitrarily, or I'm not trying to make an example, but like, what if now the next guy, whoever, player named here, beats the shit out of his girlfriend?
I think that's different.
But no, but or accused of.
So
what's the next accusation?
Because
it's going to happen.
Okay, but in terms of that's egregious. That's a way more. There's evidence. There's clear evidence. If there's a police report filed in real time and there's physical evidence like pictures of a beaten up female, then it's clear cut. It's a cut and dry case, open shut. With this, it's accusations. There's no actual real evidence to even prosecute criminally. So the problem that I have with it is 6 games proves that there was something wrong, right? The NFL found something wrong. So if they found something wrong, then how is it just not so wrong that they suspend him for a full season? Or if they didn't find a lot wrong, to me, it should be 0 games. Because if
I would have preferred
either
that.
you did it or you didn't do it. If you did something, then you need to be suspended for a longer time than just 6 games. If you didn't, and we're only suspending you for, to save face publicly, then now it's Deshaun Watson that has a case against the NFL. Because to me, 26 cases, 6 games, they only heard 5 of the cases. I need to hear more details because if it was, look, we actually looked at all 25 cases, but 21 of them were just garbage. and it was obvious. So they threw those away, and there's like 5 or 6 that are real. But there's also other news that came out with Deshaun Watson today is that in addition to being suspended for the 6 games, he also agreed to settle with 3 more of the women.
Unbelievable.
Leaves one woman left.
So there's only one woman left.
One woman.
And the one woman left, I would imagine, is either A, a brand new accuser, which is there, you might see more and more of those come out as time goes on, or it's the initial one, or the main one that's like, no, this happened to me, and I'm not a hooker. I wasn't a massage therapist that was agreeing to do this for Deshaun Watson. I didn't have a pimp. What about the pimp?
And
I'm
here's
not
your
talking about
answer.
the Texans
That's
owner. I'm
true,
talking
too.
about the lady.
And here's your answer to a couple people saying, like Tim Riley came in and said, did the NFL take into account that he didn't play last year? That's not true, and that's not fair because the man was paid his entire contract to sit on the bench. That was a decision made by the Houston Texans to save face.
Is there also a fine attached to the suspension, or
No.
is it just the games that
just
he missed
games
now?
missed.
So his
and
suspension.
now that he's going to lose a couple $100,000.
Now,
a couple $100,000
but
because of the way they structured that first year.
They may have factored that in, though. They may have.
They probably did, right?
You missed the whole season.
But how? But how? How do you factor that in if the guy got paid to sit on the bench and be a piece of shit? How do you actually factor that in? That doesn't make any sense to me because that's
Because
like
he
me
didn't
or you.
get
That's
to
like
play.
you, like or me. Did something wrong, right? And I'm just like, Chris, look, man, you can't be here. You can't. It's a bad look if you're on the show, but I'm going to pay you. Right, and then you come back, and then I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm suspending you for 6.
It's not the same because
But
because there's lawyers involved and there's legal issues that are just like that are binding in terms of the way the Constitution was written and the way labor laws are written.
But I'm not talking about now. I'm not talking about even about the 6. I would have much rather, and truth be told, I would have much rather Deshaun Watson be suspended for 0 games. That means the NFL did their investigation and said, you know what, we can't. You didn't do anything.
We found nothing, so
and
we
found
can't do
nothing.
anything.
That's it. The fact that they found anything, it could be a bad text message. It could be something really the tiniest mediocre thing. And if you found it and you found that he's guilty, then you have to suspend him for longer than 6 games. Last year doesn't count.
All right,
I'm
so
sorry.
I have the real question that everybody wants to know. Does this mean that Amari Cooper is draftable again?
Oh, Jesus.
That's a good
Yeah, after week
question, though.
6.
Like, as we move past our opinion point, and like, what does this mean for the Browns going forward? It would have been nice to have this news about a week ago when we did Cleveland.
Yeah, we can
But
redo Cleveland
look,
if you want.
We agree that it's kind of a shitty situation. He should have probably gotten suspended more the fact that they found anything, or if they found nothing, he should have been suspended 0 games. I need to see more details. I would imagine now that the suspension came down, that the NFL or this committee that oversaw this, whatever it was, will have to release some of the details of what they found in the investigation.
They need to release it all.
This way,
It's gotta be public
the
knowledge.
public could understand why they did what they did, but it does not have to be
Why not?
because they don't. There's public record, and there's certain things that get. When there's like high profile cases, like how come Ghislaine Maxwell's accusers or the people that she was naming in her case, that didn't come out.
Well, how come
they could dictate the same thing with Daniel Snyder?
Well, how come they
They can release it or not.
Well, how come they
don't need
released?
to.
Why did they release John Gruden's emails?
That's why he's suing them.
That's why he's suing them.
And he's going to win because now look, now he's got even a bigger case.
I mean, he might not win because the NFL has got long money, and it's tough to go to court with the NFL because they could just drag it along. You're going to really have to have some resiliency to go up against the NFL in a court battle.
So is this the NFL just saving face, giving them the 6
But
games?
how much? And that's fine that you mentioned that
We're not
phrase,
gonna know
saving
until we
face.
see the details.
But are they really saving face here? Like this right now makes it look even worse, guys.
Oh yeah, they're playing the
Worse.
middle. They're playing the middle. They're trying to pander to both sides, and that's.
But that
look,
shouldn't be in
but-
affect your decision.
But yo, save face. Does anybody in this room? Maybe there is people out there that will not watch the NFL because of this. But like week 1, Thursday night, when the first
No, it
game
has
kicks
nothing
off,
to do
the
with that.
NFL's got plenty
Preseason
of face.
Thursday, dog.
They can lose a
I'm
little
talking.
bit.
I'll be watching the Hall of Fame game on
face.
Thursday, right?
And they're going
I've
to be
never been
fine.
so excited for
Yeah,
a Hall of
I'm
Fame
pumped
game
for
in
the
my
Hall of
life. I'm
Fame
dead
game, which
serious.
means
I've never
nothing.
been.
Half the NFL's face off, they would have a full face again by week 1.
Listen, the NFL finds a way to get out of these situations all the time with the Michael Vick dog situation. Then you have the Gruden situation. Then you have the Deflategate situation. People will get upset.
Bro,
we will talk about it.
Here's
and
the
then
thing.
Hold my
Ready
beer,
for this?
Hold my
Hold-
beer
ready
while,
for that?
Hold my
No.
beer while Deshaun Watson makes speeches at women's rights groups and shit like that in like 5
Right,
years when
exactly.
they make him do some
No,
dumb
you just
shit
brought
that
up
he
a
doesn't
point.
even believe in.
They suspended the GOAT, Tom Brady, 4 games for deflating a football.
cheating.
For deflating a football.
Cheating is cheating.
Okay, fine. they suspended Watson
Also,
for 6.
could we test
more
Tom
games
Brady for
assaulting
HGH at this
women.
point? Why is Tom Brady in the best shape of his life right now?
Of course, because he's got
Explain that to
18
me.
trainers that like sleep with him in his
it's
bed.
called
TB12,
fucking
baby.
Juice, bro.
Unbelievable.
TB12,
But anyway,
He's on steroids.
it's an
Tom
egregious
Brady's been on steroids his whole career, probably.
steroids. Ready? 6 games for Hopkins because
Yeah.
he took a bad pill.
And did you see what he
Get
said?
outta here.
That is like in the blood levels. It's only he only like
I hope-
failed by like 0.03%.
I hope.
Like, it's
I hope
crazy.
to God. I hope to God
Hey,
that somebody
PEDs,
comes out.
Butt stuff.
I hope. No, I really hope somebody comes out, whether it be, and I know they won't, like a Hopkins or a Zeke or somebody like that. Just like Zeke should just put out a tweet shaking my head.
No.
Zeke
No.
should do that.
No.
I think
Yes,
I think,
because this is bullshit,
Look,
dude.
bro. Look, here's. I don't think that Zeke is feeling that any type of way towards Watson in this case. I
No,
think
feel
that
it towards the NFL.
Are all Cowboys fans
or
salty this
the
morning?
NFL, based on the fact that Zeke was almost a martyr, and like because of the egregious suspensions that they doled out to some of these players that didn't deserve it. I'm not saying Zeke did or didn't. I don't know enough about that case, but he got 6 games, and I think it's been a public outcry for a while
Yes.
that it was probably a little over of a punishment.
They
right?
missed the playoffs.
But what you have to do in that situation is you can't just say, okay, we set the precedent, we were wrong. Let's keep on being wrong going forward. Like they looked at the Zeke case and they were like, look, that was bad. We fucked up there. We can't keep doing that because that's bad. So they go back on it a little bit and you need to get some of the control back. And that was why the NFL might be appealing it. You understand that, right? Like
Yeah,
the NFL is kind of on Deshaun Watson's side in this case, and the players union is definitely on his side. The players, if you're a player and there's guys getting suspended for something that maybe they know more details, and they'll be like, yo, he shouldn't get suspended at all. We all get our asshole played with at the massage parlor.
My God.
Right?
Okay.
That could be a prevalent thing. You think
Bum,
Deshaun Watson's
breaking
the
news,
only
ladies and
guy?
gentlemen.
You're talking to the guy who's king of massage parlor, dog.
Who?
You know what I'm saying? Me, bro.
Oh, you. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Who doesn't like to, like,
All right,
fool
well,
around after we've
in
been
any
on
event,
In
Manscaped?
Texas, I might be a felony.
I do. This is off the rails now, but all I'm saying is this: the NFL is trying to quote save face, and what this did was this painted them in a worse light to me.
Yes.
This is them trying to be like, oh, and that's another thing, Chris. Like, if this is the reasoning why, like, all right, so he did this, it's not that bad, but if we don't do anything, people are 6. It's like this. There's no bearing on this. We need the details. I don't want to read the details because I'm sure it's absolutely disgusting or whatever the hell he's into. I don't care. You do what you want to do with your life.
Or it's not.
Or it's not.
Or
So
it's
if it's
just
not, then don't suspend
Like
them at
there
all.
could be some thought trap horror
Horrible situations.
horrible
I
situation
know.
women that are just trying to take advantage of a payday. I apologize.
Could be,
for
but
the,
you don't.
for the
but like you
direction
said,
of where that went.
You don't know which way it can
Cancel.
go. Because listen, after 6 games, this guy's going to be on TV. I'm pretty sure
there
they have
was a-
primetime games.
The
this
woman,
year.
the
Of course he
woman,
does.
the
Of
woman,
course they are.
The woman, one of the women accusers, her son.
was the pitch, right?
Son,
Yeah.
no. Her son was
Jesus
like,
Christ.
her son was
One
like,
of them
no.
were,
Like
though.
when she came home that day, she had nothing but great things to say about Mr. Watson, and saying that the mother was just a little, looking for a
Oh, I
money
saw
grab.
that,
Essentially,
yes,
like
I
that
saw
was
that.
that was a real thing. That's something that
somebody's
came
son
up.
said
Here's
that.
but here's the thing. In that same breath, right, where he has the mom saying this, or at least he said that, there was a legitimate text thread on, and I keep going back to this. Yes, Cowboys fans are salty. I'm sorry. It's the way it's going to be. There was a text thread between Ezekiel, its accuser, and her friend saying, let's get him. Let's get him, right? And they still suspended
Yeah, but
Zeke for 6
that
games.
could just be like, fuck this guy. He did this. Let's get him.
Well, whatever
Wasn't
the
he
case.
still in college when this? He was going into the NFL, right? When this happened, doesn't it happen at Ohio State in a parking lot, right?
I don't know, dude.
I think
No,
it's
it was
like
at
a
the
bus.
Mardi Gras thing,
Yeah,
or there was like a grab.
I think
of
it was
the-
before
after
he was-
year one. I think it was after year
he
one.
Had,
no?
Then he did something
Well,
else
it all
in
came
a
to.
car.
It was 2017. He got suspended. It came
Okay.
through fruition after year one, and he
Yes.
didn't. Again, but it doesn't matter. All I know is this: Deshaun Watson is going to be back in week 7, or I think if the bye week plays out right, he'll be starting after the bye or some shit like that, and he'll be quarterback for the Browns, right? And that's it. You'll never have to hear about this shit again because it's over now, right? But now, my only concern before we get into the rest of the show, and there's a lot to get to, my only concern is this. What does the NFL do to the next person that does something stupid like this? Because it's inevitable. I'm not going to stereotype anybody, but these NFL athletes, or any professional athlete for that matter, when they have all the money in the world, these guys get bored. And when they get bored, they do stupid shit. That's just the way it is. They're young. They're reckless with their money. And this is what's going to happen. So what is going to happen to the next guy, regardless of what it is now this is this the thing they use going
The new
forward?
precedent, maybe.
The new precedent.
Maybe. I guess really though.
But we're gonna have to know the
I
details.
guess when we get into the next situation that arises from an NFL player, a star player at that, we're gonna get. You have to look at that case individually. You can't be like Deshaun was 6 games. Well, with the details and the facts,
I need to know
on
what
Deshaun Watson. Are they going to make this other guy sit out a full year before knowing anything?
Now I haven't looked, and maybe somebody in the comments can chime in. What is the actual description of the penalty? Like Deshaun Watson has been suspended 6 games by the
for
NFL
conduct
for
detrimental to the league.
Okay, so then that means that is the precedent. Conduct judgment. That means it's going to be even. And now there's got to be something else.
But that phrase was literally made up to be all encompassing.
That's
You know what I
horrible.
mean? So
they need to get more
they
specific.
don't have to be specific.
They
and
have
this is
to.
because they're very, very smart at the top and they know how to cover their tracks legally, which is why you don't get involved with the NFL in a court case.